Hey beginners, if you want to continue learning the Zager Instruction Method, well, I've got a nice little exercise for you to do. Very, very simple chords and very simple finger patterns, but it uses the Zager notation and you will expand your horizons. So coming up. Hey everyone, Paul here, PZ Guitar, your virtual practice partner, and I'm very excited to continue going down the Zager lane here, as I put my foot up on my little rest here. And so when I first started off guitar, not that many years ago actually, maybe 11 or 12, I started off as classical guitar, and one of the exercises that my instructor gave me was this little pattern that I modified slightly and I put it into the Zager notation, and I'm going to give that to you here today. So what is it? Well, first off, let's do a quick little review for what the Zager notation does for you. Although I highly recommend that you go to this video that's right up here somewhere, so that way you could at least get an in-depth view as to what the Zager notation does. But here in the here and now, the Zager notation is going to be on the screen for today's lesson. This is just a high-level overview of the Zager Finger Style notation. Please refer to my video, Love Me Tender, for a more in-depth explanation. In the first figure, this is a Zager box. It's also akin to a measure of music. This box describes what you need to do with your right hand and your left. First, on the left side, this represents your strings on the guitar, 6 to 1, low E to high E. On the bottom, there are, in this case, 8 rhythm movements. Rhythm movements are analogous to 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Denny Zager, he likes to keep it simple. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The bold A7 directs what you need to do for your left hand. In other words, play the A7 chord. The rest of the diagram is all about the right hand. For your right hand, your fingers are designated X for thumb, 1 for index, 2 for middle, 3 for ring. The pinky is typically not required, but if needed, it would be number 4. To start, form the required chord in the left hand, in this case A7. For the first rhythm movement, you are required to play 2 notes at the same time or harmonically. Zager calls this a stack. You pluck X, or your thumb, on string number 5. At the same time, you pluck finger number 3, your ring finger, on string number 2, the B string. After that, the next rhythm movement requires just a single note, finger number 3 on string number 2. Similarly, rhythm movements 3 and 4 are single notes using the prescribed fingers on the designated strings. Rhythm movement number 5 is another stack. This time, X is on the string number 6. Then rhythm movement number 6 follows, then a stack that does not use the thumb. Here it uses fingers 2 and 3. Rhythm movement number 8 is a rest. You don't play anything, but you count. Just let the notes ring. Then you go to the next box. Figure number 2, this is a typical box you would encounter in a full Zager arrangement. The string numbers are no longer listed. The rhythm movement numbers are no longer listed, and the word rest is removed, but a graphic still remains if required. Here you are required to form the DOS chord. OS, open string. Denny uses the formal method to identify chords. Typically, there's an accompanying sheet with the required chord shapes to remove any confusion. Figure number 3 requests the open E7 chord, but it has 2 rests in the box. The fourth figure has an additional left-hand element that you must be aware of, the label. Please look at rhythm movement number 5. The C sharp 3 is the instruction for your left hand, not your right, it's for the left hand. It is asking you to modify the chord grip, in this case the chord D open string, and the label wants you to play the note C sharp with your third finger on the indicated second string. Therefore, you need to know your fretboard, or at the very least, how to accommodate the labels for the current arrangement. Labels only live for a single rhythm movement. In this case, rhythm movement number 6 requires you to play the second string with your third finger on the right hand in the original grip. The 5th figure starts rhythm movement number 1 with a 4-fingered stack. Rhythm movement number 4, there's a label O. This means play the first string open. The next rhythm movement requires the second string to fret the note D with your pinky, or finger number 4, of your left hand. Rhythm movement number 7 has a stack, and string number 1 is played open according to the label. The 6th figure here has 2 interesting features on the labels. Rhythm movement number 1 has a label, so you must start out in a modified chord grip to what is called for. Rhythm movement number 5 is requiring the note F sharp to be played with the third finger on string number 1. In a typical A7 chord grip, that third finger normally has duties only on the string number 2. But the request here is to use finger number 3 and move it from string 2 to string 1 to cover the note F sharp. Remember, you have to recover the required chord grip or go back to the original chord grip so that for that third finger, because you will need it for rhythm movement number 7 back in the original position. The 7th figure here is to let you know that you can split the box or the measure into 2 or more distinct chords. In this case, rhythm movements number 1 and 2 is for the chord C, and rhythm movements 3, 4, 5, 6 is for the D chord. Please be aware, in this example, there are only 6 rhythm movements, better known as 3/4 time, rather than 8 rhythm movements or 4/4 time. Here for exercise number 1, actually for all 3 exercises, it's the same chord progression, a version of a C, a G, an A minor, an F major 7, and an E minor 7. It's just those 5 chords, but they're simplified, just 2 fingers. So in exercise number 1, let's just go right to it here, is you're going to form the C chord. That's what you do with your left hand. You form that C chord. And I'm going to highlight rhythm movements number 1 and number 5. That's the business end of your fingers here. So you're going to be playing finger number 3 on string number 1, finger number 2 on string number 2, finger number 1 on string number 3, and your thumb X on string number 5. And you're going to pluck those strings simultaneously, forming a chord. And then, so the way this works, or what you're going to do is, these are, in this particular box, or this measure of music box number 1, 8 rhythm movements. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's analogous to 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. But Denny likes to keep things simple. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So on rhythm movements number 1 and number 5, you play notes, but on rhythm 2, 3, 4, and 6, 7, and 8, you do a rest. You count them, you just don't play anything. So let's form our chord. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then we do our next chord, G6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then A minor, 7, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, and then F major 7. And now to go to the box number 5 is the only time that your index finger leaves the pool. So I need fingers 2 and 4. Then we go back to F major 7, G, and then a long C. So that's a very simple thing to do, especially with the Zager notation. It's telling you what to do with your left hand and what to do with your right hand. So let's just now do that nice and slow. So that's what you're going to loop, or that's what you're going to practice. Now, I may have played that a little too fast, for your beginners or things like that, but you could always slow that down. But it's much more important to play it slowly first so that you can play and get your fingers to where they know where they need to go and change the chord in time for the next chord. It doesn't help you to play the C and then G. Here, but my other finger came off the deck by accident. It's much better to keep things in rhythm. If you have a metronome, use a metronome. Set it very, very, very slow. So that's rhythm. So that's progression number 1. Finger pattern number 1. It's just we're playing everything harmonically at the same time. Now let's arpeggiate, or let's now do it melodically. Let's go to lesson number 2. So I'm going to go through this real quick here. So again, for here, instead of playing everything, harmonically, I'm going to play things melodically. And that's the whole difference here. Everything else is the same, except we have no more rests. And so what used to be a rest before, we're now playing the notes. So again, so let's just go right into it right now. C simple. Let's go to G. And now E minor, 7. Back to F. Way back to G. I think you get the idea. So here we're arpeggiating. We're going sequentially 1 2 3 1 2 3. So that's the end of lesson of exercise number 2. Practice that. Do it nice and slow. Do it nice and slow. Do it nice and slow. Let's do number 3. Exercise number 3. Again, it's the same 5 chords in the same order, except now what we do is we're still doing things melodically here. And we hit our bass note again, and now we descend. Oh, kind of cool. That's a nice little set of exercises you can do, and you can work on your fingerstyle chops by doing that very simple thing. It will emphasize your chord changes. Even though they're simple chord changes, they're still chord changes. You still got to think about it. You know, it still takes some mental CPU to do that, as well as doing all this stuff here and doing this new simplified notation here. But it will open up doors for you. So I hope you like this lesson. If you have, you know all those buttons that everyone seems to ask, hopefully you do. Hopefully you've learned something. Leave a comment as to what you like, what you don't like, what I messed up. I probably messed up a whole lot here today, but keep comments coming in. Subscribe, hit the button, and keep practicing. That's the biggest thing here. Keep practicing. The Zager Instruction Method is a great thing. There's more to come, so keep practicing, and I'll see you soon. Hey everyone, up here is going to be a video that you might want to play next, or down here is going to be a playlist that would be a good thing to do to get more practice along the same subject lines. So until then, play this one or play this one. It's up to you, whatever you want.